I think we're live, but we always have this conversation, and it's the funniest start to the show, and it's become a habit of ours. But I think we are. Are we?
Does it really matter?
As soon as
Eventually,
you're
we will
here,
be live. Does it really matter if we're actually live right now? We're kind of live. Whatever computer system we're using, whatever magic algorithm we're using, we'll get the rest of it live. So we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the FiveStack. I think we're live.
I think we are live. I think it matters too because there's so much breaking news going on that would really, you got to stay on top of it. If you're not live, you might miss some of the actual news developments as they're happening because there's so much news today.
Crazy.
I mean, it is really jam packed, and I'm sorry we're late, but it's my fault entirely. It's just I had so much clips and things to get ready, and now we're here. Now we're
Too many
here.
things. We have too many assets. We have too many receipts of Donald Trump and his regime being a fucking death cult of authoritarian assholes. We have too many videos of his ice goons shooting people in the face. We have too many examples of the gaslighting and the nuclear pathological lying that's coming out of the Oval Office and all the sycophants. So I get it because we want to show people today. We're going to give them a roadmap into Trump's lies. We're going to give people a visual. We're going to give them some audio. We're going to hear from JD Vance today. We've got lots to cover today. And it's not just in America. Obviously, there are skirmishes that are fueled by MAGA, fueled by the ideology, fueled by that cult vibe. So I don't know where you want to start today, my friend, but we are jam-packed.
We should start in Minnesota, of course, Minneapolis, where there are protests today, but also news that the FBI is going to take over the entire investigation of the murder or killing of Renee Good. This is unusual. This doesn't normally happen, that they're basically icing out the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which normally handles all these investigations in Minnesota. Now they've been told the FBI is in charge. Normally, you'd think, hey, that's okay, the FBI, you trust the FBI, but not this FBI. And Governor Walz basically said the same thing. He said, we're not sure we're going to get a fair outcome here if the FBI in charge in Minnesota is frozen out of the investigation. It's a big deal because this is let me just say, it's a flashpoint is an understatement. This is really becoming a massive story.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you watched JD Vance's press conference today in the White House press room.
I did.
I sent you some clips. Not sure if you have them.
I have many. I got some of my own too, so I don't know which one we'll go to. You tell me what you'd like, and then I've got a couple.
You know what? I think you just tee them up because the deal is it's all hands on deck, and you sent out the vice president to go and clean up some kind of fucked up mess that Donald Trump and Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller started by letting one of their ICE goons, and this isn't the first time they've shot a woman. They shot a woman in Chicago 6 times a couple of months ago, if you remember that. She still has bullet holes in her arm. She was on 60 Minutes, I think about a month and a half ago. And now they've shot Renee Nicole Good, 37-year-old mother of 3, including a 6-year-old who is now orphaned. Her partner was in the car with her, stuffed animals in the front seat, Golden Grams in the back seat, just dropped her 6-year-old off at school, was trying to drive away, and was stopped, told to move, moved, then told to stop, and then a masked dickhead tried to get in the car, shot her in the head. You've seen the videos. It's macabre, it's disgusting, it's horrific, it's miserable, it's authoritarian, it's fascism at its fucking core. It's authoritarianism, violent, and they're coming after Americans now, white Americans. And you know what? That makes a difference, and I'll get to that a little later on because it does matter. But the fascinating thing today was watching JD Vance try to paint her as a left-wing lunatic, get asked if he knew that she was left-wing, have him say, I don't know, we're trying to figure that out yet.
Yeah.
But still try to drive that point home, that the left-wing mob, the left-wing this, the radical left that, the paid, organized, trained, fundamental mob of left-wing lunatics are preventing ICE from doing their job, and that is what Nicole Good is and was. Sorry, Renee Nicole Good is and was. She is now dead. She was none of those things. She was a church-going white woman with 3 kids who just dropped her child off at school trying to get away from the FBI, or sorry, the ICE goons that were also blocking the road. She even let an ICE truck by. That is when some jumped up asshole shot her in the head for it 3 times, 2 times, and then blasted one into her shoulder as well. I've got a picture of her car, in her car, at deanblundell.substack.com, and I need everybody to go look at it because what JD Vance did today was take a giant megalomaniacal, fascist, gaslighting dump on the memory of a woman that Trump and his regime, who they sanctioned the murder of today. Like, that is what they're doing, not just whitewashing it. They're justifying it by saying, well, ICE has every fucking responsibility in the world, and this woman was in the way, and she drove away, and she got shot. They're still going with the whole thing, that the whole fucking bullshit narrative that she tried to ram the cop. You can clearly, we have fucking eyes. Former FBI, forensic criminologists, they've all said the same thing. The woman in no way was armed, in no way was dangerous, and did not ram anybody. They're still running with this fucking lie. So I don't know where you want to start with JD Vance, but this is the art of not just effusiveness. This is defrauding the fucking American people of facts.
You know, I'll play you a clip, but people need to really understand what you've just said. What you're saying is this is a orchestrated plot to deceive the American people. This is an orchestrated, played out, planned execution of how they're going to lie to the American people in order to increase tension, to create clashes. And you have to think that in the back of your mind as you watch all these clips, he's not just lying for lying's sake. He is lying because he's part of an operation to convince you that this is the truth, because he wants the clashes to happen.
Mr. Vice President, thank you for taking questions today. Is there a risk with you describing her as a deranged leftist, talking about very specific facts of these events, when an investigation is just beginning? Are you preempting a thorough investigation by drawing such conclusions? And have you received any information beyond the videos we've seen publicly about this individual, her specific acts, that has informed your point of view?
Well, first of all, the Department of Justice is going to investigate this. The Department of Homeland Security is already investigating this. But the simple fact is, what you see is what you get in this case. You have a woman who is trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy, while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making and a tragedy of the far left, who has marshaled an entire movement, a lunatic fringe, against our law enforcement officers.
Mr. Vice President, thank you for
So this is really interesting. You know, what he's doing is, firstly,
Did
lying.
you hear that? Did you hear this at the beginning of it? How do you know she's a left-wing lunatic?
Yeah.
And he's like, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
We know what we saw. We know what we saw. And what he's doing is he's co-opting what everybody saw, and he's lying about it. And then he still has no fucking idea about Renee Nicole Good's intentions. He still is lying about her trying to ram the cop. He is still lying about her being a left-wing lunatic. And he even said he has no idea. But then he said what you see is what you get. And he just co-opted that narrative to paint her as a left-wing mobster.
I'll play you another clip as well from him. You know, one of the things he's trying to do is to take these people who are peacefully and rightfully protesting ICE by figuring out where ICE is going to be around, and they're expressing their First Amendment rights by protesting and protecting their neighborhoods. And he's trying to make that illegal. He's trying to turn that into an act of provocation against the ICE and law enforcement. And it's a very manipulative thing that they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is basically saying that anything that tries to obstruct ICE in their function, anything, even if it's just a protest, is in fact trying to make violence against law enforcement officials.
Terrorist.
He's a domestic terrorism. It's a very, very shrewd thing. And then, of course, he also blames, which I just find kind of stunning, the media. Let's listen to him on these two topics.
How does being part of that network justify being shot?
Well, being part of the network doesn't justify being shot, but ramming an ICE officer with your car, that's what justifies being shot.
Never happened.
It's not a good
Never
thing,
happened.
by the way.
Yeah,
When you force somebody
he's
to
basically
engage in
saying.
self-defense, it's almost a preposterous question. I'm not saying that funding some of this stuff justifies capital punishment. Nobody would suggest that. The reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car, and that guy acted in self-defense. That is why she lost her life, and that is the tragedy. Now, there may be other violations of the law and other penalties that are associated with those violations of the law. For example, if you are funding violence against our law enforcement officers, I'm not a prosecutor. My guess is that's not the sort of thing that earns capital punishment, but it should sure as hell earn you a few years in prison if you're funding the effort to try to assault our law enforcement officers.
Now, it's very sneaky what they're doing.
He
They're making Ice
just
Watch.
completely sidestepped the question and invented a new narrative.
Yeah, and when he's saying if you're funding the violence against ICE officials, he's basically saying if you fund anything that is tracking ICE officials, or if you fund anything that promotes awareness of where ICE may be next, you are in violation of the law because you're now a domestic terrorist.
Yep. That's exactly what he said. That is exactly how they're painting this poor woman. That is exactly the narrative they're trying to create. And JD Vance is really good at it. That's the other part. Is that he's an insult to the intelligence of anybody with a fucking high school degree. But there are a whole bunch of dumb fucks and country bumpkins and gun-loving fucking losers out there that love this guy, love MAGA, that are celebrating the death of this white woman who died slumped over in her car next to her partner 2 minutes after she dropped her fucking child off at first grade. Walked the child into first grade class, said goodbye, handed her the PB&J lunch, got back in the car, tried to pull out. ICE agents going by. She stopped, and they shoot her in the fucking face after telling her to move, and she complied. That's what happened. An officer was not rammed with the fucking car.
Absolutely not.
I cannot stress that enough. JD Vance is standing up, defrauding the fucking American people, taking a giant fascist shit on the grave of the woman whose murder he just fucking co-opted. That's what he just did.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, the capital murder thing. Oh, it's not for, people like that. He's literally introducing the fucking death penalty.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really disturbing. And then he goes on to talk about the media being agents of propaganda.
What is, I'm sorry, guys, what's going on here? You guys are meant to report the truth. How have you let yourself become agents of propaganda of a radical fringe that's making it harder for us to enforce our laws? You just asked me a question that presumed that the reason why this woman died is because she was engaged in legitimate protest. She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened.
That's the lie.
The investigation is still ongoing.
I said next question.
Mr. Vice President, I mean, you presumably watched the video yourself. There's not the slightest doubt in your mind, having viewed it, that the victim, you still believe that she deliberately tried to ram him despite seeing this video?
Look, I don't know what is in a person's heart or in a person's head, and obviously we're not going to get the chance to ask this woman what was going on. What I am certain of is that she violated the law. What I am certain of is that that officer had every reason to think that he was under very serious threat for injury or in fact, his life. What I'm certain of is that she accelerated in a way where she ran into the guy.
That's a lie. It's all not
Vice
true.
President of the United States is standing up there lying, defrauding the American people right now.
And I know that officer was acting in self-defense. That's
no, he
That's
wasn't.
an interesting point, though. Look, if people want to say that we should have a legitimate debate about, what was she really doing, right? Was she panicking when she drove into this officer, or was she actually trying to ram him?
She never drove into the officer. That's a lie.
What's not reasonable is for so many of you to plaster all over the media that this was an innocent woman and that the ICE agent committed murder, which is what many of you have said explicitly, and some of you. What is it?
Because it's fucking true. Because it's fucking true, JD.
True.
You
That's what we do.
Fucking cosplaying asshole. Listen, let's talk about JD Vance. Who 10 years ago, he's such a piece of shit. He is such a fucking lying piece of fascist shit, and he's cosplaying, and that's what makes it even more dangerous. That's an act.
Yeah,
that's the same guy that called Trump Hitler. That's the same guy that said Trump will destroy the United States, who went away for 6 months and came back as Peter Thiel's fucking dick puppet and turned literally Ohio into penis cancer. That is who JD Vance is. Prior to being this guy, prior to writing Hillbilly Elegy, his name was JD Hamill. Prior to J.D. Hamill, he was J.D. something or other, or John David something or other, and he went by John David because that was in his bisexual phase. And then he had a full gay phase before that when he was in university, where he went by a different name. This man is an entity. He is a vessel. He is nothing more than that. And right now he's cosplaying for power, influence, for his fascist puppet masters, because he knows that the guy that's in the Oval Office is probably going to die before he finishes, or get impeached, or get booted, and he's going to be the guy. What JD Vance is doing right there, right there, blaming the media, blaming that woman based on that fucking central lie. And he never leaves that lie. He didn't leave it once today in the press conference.
Yeah.
He stayed on that lie. That was his axis point the entire time. Anytime someone said, but like you just heard the reporter, you saw the video. In no way in your mind, you're telling me that that woman still rammed the police officer with his car. He goes, hey, listen, the investigation is going to be. And then he went, yes, I do. I do believe that.
Yeah.
In colloquial language.
He is one of the scariest things ever in the Trump administration, because he does what Trump can't do. In some ways, Trump isn't as good at lying. Trump is always giving away the truth, giving away the story. In this case, I think Vance is very, very scary. Now, we've just found out from the Star Tribune in Minneapolis that they've identified the agent as Jonathan Ross, who was dragged by a vehicle and injured during a June operation in the city, in the Twin Cities. I don't have very much more details, but I know that there was a investigation about this. So we've been hearing that Jonathan Ross, this, the shooter, the shooter and an agent, was previously involved in a similar kind of event, which they're using to justify, I guess, his reaction yesterday. But it shouldn't be, of course. He's a trained officer. He shouldn't be reacting in that way. But this is the excuse that they're using. But his name is Jonathan Ross. And we have some video of him yesterday. I played some of this with Nick yesterday. It was really interesting watching his sort of premeditated kind of reaction. I don't know if you've seen this, Dean, but let's cue it up for us here. So this is right as the shooting takes place, right after the shooting takes place. And then we encounter him sort of walking towards let me just find it here because it is all not pre-racked, but the shooter here finds him. Where did he go now? 1 second. We'll find it. Sorry about that. It's all the joy of live investigations. There he is. That's the guy. This is Jonathan Ross.
This is the guy that Donald Trump said was in hospital and was seriously injured after getting run over and rammed with a civilian vehicle, right?
Yes, I want to let's watch what he does. So this is just the commentaries from the local news, and it's after the fact. It doesn't really help us. But here he is walking back towards us with the police. He's texting someone. He's actually gone to see if the woman died. He just killed somebody. Keep in mind, he just killed somebody. He's telling everyone to roll out. Let's roll out. We've done what we need to do. And then they roll out. In other words, it doesn't look to me like he's going to hospital in any way. It doesn't look to me like he's injured in any way. It doesn't even look like he's traumatized in any way. He just killed somebody and walked away like nothing happened. And then he goes up to the scene to check to see if she's alive, doesn't administer any help, doesn't call for medics, doesn't do anything. Instead,
walks away like a cowboy.
Yeah, hey, look, we did our
roll out.
This to me makes it seem a lot more premeditated and even more unsettling than the story is already. Because the same thing with Kristi Noem's reaction yesterday. You know how quickly she came out with their counter narrative, like they immediately were out there with their story. It almost seems too quick, too clean, too orchestrated, and the look on his face makes it feel like he's not caught up in the moment. He knew what he was going to go do, and that's what he did.
Didn't look phased that he just shot a woman in the head, an unarmed woman in the head, for driving away from him after she was told to move by 2 ICE officers. Yelled, if you watch the video, yelled, move, 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 like 4 or 5 times. Yeah. And then he threatens to pull her out of the car if she doesn't move. So she backs up to avoid him because he's in the front of her vehicle, and then moves to the side of he moves to the side of the vehicle. And as she pulls away, complying with the other ICE officers, this scared little fuck shoots her twice in the face. And you can see that is what happened. And here, let me just kind of latch onto the whole. Well, he was involved in one of these before. Well, that's a fucking problem. Number one, we was involved in one of these before, and that's the excuse that the Trump regime and ICE officials are using as an excuse for, well, he was involved. He was scared. This happened to him before. If that happened to him before and he's scared and that's his reaction, he is wholly fucking unqualified to be a law enforcement officer.
Yeah. Look at the distance here between him and the car as it's turning. That little red bar is added by me. But you can see this at more than an arm's length and some away from the car, meaning there's not a chance in the world that she was anywhere near him during this alleged acceleration and ramming. He's just taking a shot at her through the window seat, not through the front window, through the driver window seat, through the driver window from more than a foot and a half away or something like that.
Mhm.
So he's not in any danger. And then on top of that, it's clear from the earlier videos that they sort of blocked her in. There's an ICE car that comes in and blocks her in. So she's now stuck. And then they corner her. So this all feels so, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say it's orchestrated, but I think that they knew exactly what they were doing when they were walking up to her.
You know, that's really bringing us back to the beginning of this conversation, which was the FBI seized the Minneapolis ICE probe, which means the FBI, Trump DOJ, has told Minnesota, every level of law enforcement, they will not see any evidence from this. They will not be involved in the investigation. They will not be allowed to case the scene. They will not be allowed to talk to witnesses. They will not be allowed to look at forensic evidence. They cannot do anything. They have been shut right out. And this conversation, the videos that you're watching, JD Vance's gaslighting, the truth is why the FBI is taken over. Now, what is the FBI? It's a derelict organization full of fucking losers led by a guy that wrote kids' books calling himself the mega wizard, Kash Patel. And he is a sycophant. And they will do everything they can to bury everything to do with the shooting of Renee Nicole Good. Why? Because this came from Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, JD Vance. They are all fucking accomplices to fucking murder, and they want more. I don't know if you watched today's scene in Minnesota where this guy named Jaden Brown, who's a MAGA influencer, a MAGA agitator, standing in front of peaceful protesters mourning her death today. Mourning Renee Nicole Good's death, mourning it. ICE officers are standing there and they're protecting this little maggot ferret who's screaming, fuck all y'all. She should have died. Don't fuck with ICE. Don't fuck with Trump. And he's standing behind ICE officers with a megaphone screaming this. So I talked to Lev Parnas earlier today, and we should really get him on the show because he called me this morning. He goes, bro, they're going all in. They're going to make things worse in Minnesota. They're going to try to draw these people out. They want a fucking war, and they want the people of Minnesota to take up arms so that he can institute martial fucking law. They are paying Jaden Brown, a MAGA influencer, to agitate, name call with a fucking blowhorn behind the ICE lines today. You have to go and check it out. Absolutely factual.
Yeah, I just asked Lev if he wanted to join in because I think that is exactly what's going on. And there's levels of this kind of disinformation where you realize you're in the midst of a major operation. The signs for me were Kristi Noem's coming out yesterday and already having a line on this before, basically in the 30 minutes after the shooting took place. Then you had JD Vance doubling down on it. Then you had the president. And I revealed this last night in a thing with Nick Parrow. When I analyzed the video that the president shared with his followers on Truth Social, it's very evident that that video has been manipulated to make it look like this car is running over somebody. It's very sophisticated manipulation. It's not the kind of stuff that you would normally expect out of the White House. So I'm going to suggest this looks a lot like a Kremlin-grade propaganda effort, a entire active measure conducted out of the Kremlin. That's what this feels like to me. It has that level of sophistication. And when you really start to analyze all the different pieces here, you can see that they've been ready to go on this right from the very beginning. It wouldn't surprise me necessarily if they knew in advance who they were going to target with the shooting. It wouldn't surprise me if they had all the social media, all the tracking that they've been doing with their ICE. They now on ICE can basically scan who you are right away with their phones using facial recognition now. They would know exactly who was out there protesting. They'd be able to get a clean profile from Palantir right away. They'd be able to respond right away. So this all feels to me like an event that they're trying to activate this chaos. And there's very little chance of us avoiding that because it's so upsetting.
What did you find in the manipulated video? I know you went live with Nick Perro yesterday. I watched part of it, included it in the Daily Dean newsletter because it was so compelling. But you really uncovered not just the manipulation of the video, but I don't know if it was AI. I'm not too sure what it is. But Trump's video is the only video that makes it look like this officer may or may not have been in danger. And even then, it's not fucking clear.
Look, it's very interesting. He chose the video from a very weird angle. I'll play some of it here. This is a strange angle. There's so many clean angles to choose from, and he's choosing to go from this angle, which is behind a bush. It's slowed down. That's the other thing that really caught my attention is why slow down a video like this? You'd slow it down in order to make it look fuzzier, a little bit harder to see what was going on. But then he went even further. He downscaled the resolution. So normally a resolution on your video, maybe it's 1080. You know, most cameras were taking, or most phones would take 1080 or maybe 720. They downscaled it all the way to 480, make it even blurrier, make it even harder to see. Then they compressed it through Rumble. Rumble is not, Rumble is
that's a Peter Thiel owned far right YouTube.
Yeah, but Russian managed, Russian owned. It's Benny Johnson land. So they took video of Rumble basically, so what I did is I took the video, I upcompressed it back to a 1080. I said, well, this video was clearly taken, so I upscaled it. I didn't change anything in the video. In the video that you see here, there is a weird blurring effect right in front of the car as it's turning, and I sped it up, by the way, to make it a direct comparison with everything else we were watching. And when I upscaled it, I noticed something really bizarre about it. And I'm going to try to show you that bizarre thing over here. Well, it may not let me. It won't let me here, but I'll show it to you in this other take that I have here. This is 38 seconds long, and it compares all these things together. So it starts off with a side-by-side comparison of the video we all have seen. And then it shows up with trying to time his video, but upscaled. So that was interesting. The timing was sort of okay, but they cut out the beginning. They'd cropped the frame. They were doing it from a strange angle, so they were trying to obscure the truth there as well. Here's the upscaled video up close. And look in front of the car there. You see there's like a shadow?
You see that? It looks like one of those like AI shadows.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It looks like a ghosting of a person in front of the car that didn't dissolve.
Dude, she drove right through him.
Yeah.
She drove right through that shadow.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. It's hard to say it's not there. And so what you've got there is someone who deliberately manipulated the video. I mean, this is a manipulated AI, I think very Kremlin-looking kind of manipulation, because we don't have that tradition here in the United States. But I think what they've done is been able to manipulate this video very quickly, get out in front of the story, try to make sure that he's got a position which tells his followers, no, I'm right, everyone else is wrong, and the media must be lying to you. Then you hear again today, Vance underlining that. He's saying now the media are agents of propaganda. So now you've got another level of them saying...
So the only video that makes it look like she ran someone over came from the Trump regime, and 1,000 other accounts and videos that are in real time don't show that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the case. That is exactly the thing. It's so highly manipulative, and you have to have looked at Russian propaganda as closely as I have in the last 10 years to really see that this is what they're trying to pull off here. This is not some amateur little event. This is a major attempt to gaslight this entire country, to launch huge clashes on race and immigration basis across the country. This is what they want for the whole summer, all the way into November. And as I said yesterday, that's how they'll get their vote, by making the country very unstable in the run-up to it.
Great work.
Oh, thank you.
Like really, really great work, because you're right. You listen, folks. One of the things, I can imagine. I'm starting to understand what elder abuse is like. If you're an elder, is the recreation and the gaslighting of events and things that never happened. Yeah. That's what Donald Trump is treating Americans like right now. Same with J.D. Vance, same with the Trump regime. They're trying to tell grandpa and grandma, hey, Lev, they're trying to tell grandpa and grandma that
Yes.
that hey, listen, someone down the street just told me that you had to give me $5,000 because, and they're like, well, really, I didn't know. And literally, it works with old people. It doesn't work with 350 million people. It just doesn't fucking work. Like what I saw, what I just watched there in that stage video, is antithetical to 5,000 other videos
Yeah, but it
from
doesn't
5,000
matter.
other angles. No,
Because it's Donald Trump, his followers are going to say, he's showed us the video. He showed us the truth. Everyone else is lying because that's what he's been telling us for years now. The fake media is the fake media. So his followers are going to buy that made up AI manipulated video that I showed. Basically he's saying that his version of events is true. Hey, Lev, how are you?
Okay, guys.
What a few days we've had, hey?
Yeah, man, it's been crazy. Just getting off the phone and listening to some of the shit that's being prepared, and it's just sick to see the world we live in right now. And that's why I know we're going through a lot of analyzation of what's happening, but we need to make sure not to take our eye off the ball and make sure that we do something about it and not just talk. I mean, people are dying. This, and. It's just it's sad. It's sad to see, to watch our president, our vice president. I mean, did you watch him
did
come
you
out
watch
there?
JD Vance?
I mean, I had no choice. I did live afterwards, so I watched him. I mean, the anger in his voice, the anger to come out attacking this young lady that had, a mother of 3 kids, a child, an American citizen. I mean, knowing nothing about her, zero whatsoever, and coming out there and attacking her, calling her basically a domestic terrorist, while at the same time, literally 5 years to the day, folks. Just think about 5 years to the day, January 6th, we had another young woman that passed away that was 36 years old by the name of Ashley Babbitt. Another woman, but a little different. This woman was literally radicalized, literally storming the January 6th Capitol, breaking through the doors and attacking police officers. And this administration, they both died because of one man, and that's Donald Trump. Because one was radicalized to be to his cult to follow him and attack the Capitol. The other one was a hero. The other one was a true hero that was an American citizen that decided to go out and do something about in her community. When she saw those ICE agents in her community, she decided to get in her car and use her American given right, her free speech, to go out there and be able to protest against it. Say she didn't touch anybody, she didn't hit anybody, she didn't impede any arrest. You saw the video. Everybody that's seen it, I know Zev has done an incredible job of breaking it down and different. And the New York Times also came out with a breakdown. You see it plain and clear. I mean, the videos that Trump is trying to portray. I mean, just the fact that it's a lie. This guy was never hit by the car. His feet were away from it when the vehicle was turning. He shot 3 times point blank as the vehicle was pulling away. But to make matters worse, what you saw in the video that a lot of people aren't realizing, this was the guy the whole time he had a video camera in it. His job was he was video cameraing what was taking place. So he's walking around, you see him with the video camera. Then he's approaching the front of the car. So while she's looking at the side of her car being attacked by 2 ICE agents trying to drag her out of the car, she does not see anybody. She's not looking in front. She's looking over here, turning her wheel to pull simultaneously to pull away. He shows up in front of her car with his phone, videotaping, simultaneously taking his gun out of his holster. And then as she's pulling away, you could clearly see his feet are to the left of the car, not even touched by the wheel. And he shoots her 3 times, folks, straight in the head. 3 times straight in the head, point blank. And to make matters worse, he then approaches her. If you see him, because I just saw you putting a video of him
Yeah.
walking away from her, he approaches her with the camera. So he goes up to the camera, takes video of her there to make matters worse, walks
Dying.
away, dying, doesn't give any CPR, doesn't do any help, and walks away basically and does one of these things. All right, folks, let's get the hell out of here. Let's wrap it up. We're done over
Let's
here.
roll. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
roll.
you can look
And
at that.
getting
You
her
can look at that now. I mean, I just find this video so revealing about who he is. And by the way, now identified as Jonathan Ross.
Yeah.
This is a guy who apparently went under this before. We had it was dragged by some car in the Twin Cities.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Lev?
Yeah, I mean, look,
He took part
that's
in one of these and was dragged before, and
w- w-
so the FBI and everybody involved, or sorry, the ICE goons and everybody involved is now
they
saying,
feel
well,
bad
he
for him,
feared
right?
for his life because it happened before. Well, if it happened before, he's
So,
fucking terrible at his
Yeah,
job, and if
it
he
shouldn't be
feared for his
happening.
life and he
he
shot a
should
woman in the face who was unarmed who was driving away, he's fucking not fit to be a law enforcement
he
officer in any
shouldn't be
capacity.
working if right
Correct.
if he has PTSD, or if he's scared, or if he can't handle the job. Why is he out there? If you
But
know, okay. But
this
look
guy
at him
doesn't
right
look
here. Just put
injured.
the video. Yeah, but exactly. Please put the video. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that they're talking about that this guy went, and Vance made a very serious mistake today. He then tried to correct it later on. But originally, when he was talking about in this press conference, if you take a look, when he answered about, he said that he left the hospital with 33 stitches and something like that. And later on in the interview, and he corrected himself by saying that was from a prior incident. But Donald Trump, if you look at his post and you look at how Christine Oman, how they were talking about this guy like he was laying in the hospital fighting for his life.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and this is the guy. Look at him. He just wrapped it up. Look, he's getting in his vehicle. There he is.
I'm
He's
going to just pull it
getting.
back here so we can see him actually walking
Yeah,
along
look,
here. And
he's
this guy
walking
does not
around.
look traumatized, does not look injured. He basically is texting away, doesn't even
Not
Oh,
upset.
even
he's stoked.
no.
He got a kill,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Roll it up, but let's go.
Yeah.
But that's the environment. That's the whole thing. It's not even him, folks. That's the so. You know how many of these guys? What's his name? I don't even want to say his name.
Jonathan Ross, I think is his name.
Whatever his name is. You know how many of these Rosses out there are. You know, I'd rather say. You know, today the only name I want to say is Renee Nicole.
Hmm.
Good. You know, keep saying her name, folks. While we're
Very
talking, you
good.
know, say a little prayer out there for her. Put her name in the chat. Keep saying it. Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good. Say her name. Let her name be here. Let her rest in peace, because she's the true hero in this place, not these guys, Ross. You know, the atmosphere. And again, I say, I blame one person. I mean, yes, you could, the Christina Ooms, you could say are terrible, they're evil. Stephen Miller is evil. All of these people are evil, but they work for the evilest of them all. That's Donald Trump. It starts from the top. He's allowing this to happen. He's allowing them to be able to go out and do the things they do. This is the environment. Think about it, folks. I mean, you have 18-year-old kids out there that are right now working for ICE, that have zero training. They just came in, got $50,000 bonuses, have been thrown into an environment where you're basically told, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's sick to think that you have to compare that to like a frat house.
Mm.
If any of you have ever been to like different colleges, you know, there's different frat houses. There's those that you come in and everybody's about studying, going to school, and then there's ones you come in, it's all about partying, drinking, and getting yourself. This is what it is. You walk into an environment where you're told, like, listen, you're not taught to be extra cautious before you make an arrest. You're not taught about due process to make an arrest. You're not taught. You're taught as you're basically said, listen, if you think the guy or the woman is brown, black, if you think she fits the mold, grab him, bring him in. We'll deal with it later. Don't worry, because we need numbers. It's quotas. It's the president wants to. And these people are seeing that they're being protected. Just think about the environment right now inside of ICE. It's rah, rah, rah. It's that crazy because the blood is rushing right now, because you got the president of the United States supporting you. You got this guy's walking in there like a hero. He just killed a mother of three, folks.
Mm.
A mother of three. There's three young kids right now that
Unarmed.
that are for nothing. She left to do here to protest, given her God-given right as an American citizen to go out there and be able to speak her words. She didn't go out there with a baseball bat or a weapon, just like Ashley Babbitt did. She didn't go out there trespassing onto the Capitol Hill like Ashley Babbitt did.
Yeah.
She didn't go out there and scream, "I'm going to kill you! I'm going to rip," like Ashley Babbitt did. But the difference is they're both dead. They're both dead because of the same man. But one is turned into a hero. One is turned into to idolized,
Martyr.
even
Yeah.
martyr, while the other one right now is turned into
Domestic terrorist.
Yeah. You know, Charlie Kirk
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
no, and if I can, to kind of put a bow on what Lev's saying, and I see the frustration in his face. You know what the difference is that, you know, what I heard from JD Vance and the rhetoric I've heard from Noam and Trump, and it's Trump's responsibility, it's Noam's, it's all of their responsibility. The whole regime is responsible for that woman's death. But what I heard from those guys today was standard operating procedure, but it was also the co-signing of more. right? JD Vance said this today. Correct. You can accept this woman's death as a tragedy while acknowledging it's a tragedy of her own making. Don't illegally interfere with any law enforcement operations to try and run over our officers with your car. It's really that simple. I'm going to take you back to January 6th, 5 years ago, as Lev said. Ashley Babbitt gets shot in the head. Does that not apply to her too? Don't interfere with law enforcement. Law enforcement told her to stay out of the fucking rotunda. She's like, fuck you, rabid animal, stop eating babies. She was screaming, stop eating babies, as she broke a fucking window after 24 warnings not to break the window and come into Congress. And she did it, and she got shot in the fucking neck. After those warnings, this woman didn't get one warning. Ashley Babbitt's a hero whose family got $5 million in restitution. This woman's dead being called a fucking domestic terrorist this morning, gentlemen.
It's selective morality. I mean, think about Charlie Kirk. I just want to add that to the mix here. Also gunned down wrongly, of course. And the outrage on both sides after Charlie Kirk was very evident. Both left and right were pretty clear about it. But what does the right do that the left has not quite figured out? Is they have held up Charlie Kirk as some sort of modern day disciple of Jesus Christ, if you want. What we need to do with Nicole Good here, Renee Nicole Good, is hold her up too. We should be having
Absolutely.
a large, whether it's Tim Walz or Mayor Fry or whomever, should be having a mass memorial service for this person who died at the hands of the state and who died
Nationwide.
yeah, and we should make
But
this as big a deal as they did with Charlie Kirk.
but
And
and I'm sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
Zev, and I really am, and because you're 100% right. But you know what pisses me off about the bullshit, the way the left and Tim Walz and all of them are to not Fry. Fry, I'll give it to Fry. He
yeah,
came out and said it exactly the way. Get the fuck out of Minnesota, and I give it to. But Tim Walz, I'm sorry. If you watch his press conference, he said, "Let the investigation play out. Let's see what all happens." Let's see what happens. I mean, he's trying to like,
We
what
watched it.
investigation? What investigation? The FBI, they're not letting you be a part of this investigation.
there will not be
There
an
is no
investigation.
investigation. There's not going to be no investigation.
It's a
Zev
cover up.
is 100, exactly. Zev is 100% right. Right now, you need to stand up and enough of this bullshit and go out there and make this woman's name, make her a martyr. Go make her the point of it peacefully. And this is what I want to make very clear also, folks, for everybody out there that's going out there to protest, that are going out there to let their voices be heard. I want to make it clear, please, you need to do it. It's part of what, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the actions we're planning on. But the one thing I'm going to be very clear, and I want to make it, and that's not to scare you, but it's for you to be cautious because that's the world we live in right now. I've been on the phone with a lot of my sources inside of Trump world, and these rabid animals, and there's no other way of calling them, but rabid animals are literally hoping, folks, hoping that something goes haywire so they could then literally come in there, show their force on the American people, show how powerful they are, put the insurrection in, start, martial law,
Yeah.
and cancel these elections and make our life most difficult. Do not give them the opportunity because we do have ways to be able to save our democracy. We do have ways to do it by letting our voices heard, but in a proper way. We need to channel our anger right now. We're allowed to be angry. We should be angry. We need to be angry, but we need to channel our anger and channel our frustration and channel exactly into what we are doing. This is not about being politically correct, folks. Fuck that. All these Democrats that are walking around trying to be politically correct, Zev is 100% right. You didn't see no political correctness when Charlie Kirk passed away or when Ashley Babbitt was handed over $5 or $10 million by family. This is not about this woman. This lady is a hero. We saw the video. She's not only is she a mother of three, folks, but I'm hearing, and I might be off, but I can't verify, but that her ex-husband was military, that she's a Gold Star
Oh, wow.
widow.
Yeah, she's a widow of a military guy that died in service.
She
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
just think about,
heartbreaking.
I mean, just think about the person. I mean, and you saw plain in sight. She was there in her car. She was in her car. She was not trespassing on some government property. She was not jumping on any officers to impede any arrest.
Middle of a public road.
She was in the middle of a public road in her own neighborhood in her car, speaking to officers. Her window was down, folks. Her window was down. She was communicating, but you saw the communication. They ran at her, screaming, "Get the fuck out of the car!" Grabbing at her window. Any normal person, I don't care. I would have got scared and taken off.
Of course, a
Anybody would have
masked
taken
person.
off.
Well,
And you
Lev,
take
at the
off.
same time, dude, at the same time, not only is are they telling her to stop and trying to grab and open a window, two other ICE officers at the back of the car are screaming, "Move, move, move."
Yeah, move,
You know,
move, move. I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just really, look, to me, and this needs a lot more investigation, but we're seeing something really constructed here in my mind. And I think everything about it is constructed. Not her involvement, of course, but I think they knew what they were doing when they went in on her yesterday. I think they were aware of who she was because now they have these profiling tools and these Palantir and these facial recognition tools that they can know exactly who she is. And it seems that the reaction to the whole thing from Kristi Noem right out of the gate saying this is domestic terrorism before anyone had even some people had even heard of this shooting, and then this continued rollout of all these fake videos the president has shared, this fake narrative that everyone from J.D. Vance to Kristi Noem to the president are sharing repeatedly. This feels to me like an active measure designed to inflame the situation that we're seeing ongoing right now. And what you're saying, Lev, is it doesn't really stop here. Because as we saw in the summer of George Floyd, you get a Kyle Rittenhouse who is
Yep.
charged and provocative in the middle of that summer of George Floyd,
Yep.
and then creates another incident where two people are killed. And this is the kind of environment that they thrive in. They want us to spend the next 6 months doing exactly this, being terrified of ICE and seeing these racial tensions increase. Partially, I think, so they can get to November and say, "Hey, we're the law and order people. We'll bring you security, suburbia. All you have to do is vote for us."
I think it's way beyond the message, Zev. You're 100% right on everything else except for the very ending. They're not try to give you a message to win the elections. They're trying to do all of those things so they could cancel
Cancel.
the elections.
Right.
There's no way they're winning the elections. There's no way they're going to try to perceive that they're middle America. America sees what's going on. America has seen the perfect phone call. We heard it with our own ears when they lied to us and said he never extorted Zelensky. When we heard him say, "Can you do us a favor, though?" We also heard the phone call when he called up the governor. I mean, the what's it called?
Georgia, yeah, the AG in Georgia need
The AG in
11,000
Georgia,
votes.
and said, "Give me 11,000 votes." And nothing happened. We heard it. I mean, it was extortion. Just like we seen the video, I mean, in black and white of this woman, mother of three, a Gold Star widow that is, literally driving away, not impeding, not hitting, not breaking any. I mean, she might have, okay, if you want to say she blocked that car, missed the meter, but
I think
nothing
she was
that she.
blocked. I don't think.
I'll even give. I'm just saying, Tiza. I'll even
Yeah.
give him anything, but nothing that she did, that anybody, not the president, not the vice president, not any of the authorities, not Christina, nobody has shown, not one video, not one statement, not one thing showed that this woman did anything that deserved her to be dead. And
That she
this,
was
the
an
whole
imminent
thing,
threat. Yeah, yeah.
and the whole thing about this is not an accident. This is not an accident. This is the environment that we're living in, folks. And she's not the only one. There's others that are being killed. I think she's number 5. We're just not hearing about it.
Well,
There's
she's the
people
second
being
woman in 2 months to get shot by ICE officers. You remember in Chicago
exactly.
that lady got
That's
shot 6
right.
times and lived to tell about it.
That's right. I mean, so you're seeing people get, it's just accelerating and accelerating. And what I'm going to say is very simple. I mean, we have to right now, like I said, channel our anger. We have to channel our frustration into not figuring out, because we have a plan of exactly what needs to be done. Besides these protests, besides what's going to take place, and I agree with you, Zev, that they should memorialize her and have one of the biggest, just like they did with Charlie Kirk, and make it a point and rally around her and make it a true point of what is the result of ICE. I think this is where the country unites and we stand there. But very importantly, and I want to make it clear, without in any way taking away from what happened yesterday, without taking away from any of the other disasters and the nastiness this administration does, Venezuela, Ukraine, here at home, the death yesterday. But I want to make it clear, the one tool that we have to be able to stop this, because the only way we could stop ICE from doing what they're doing, the only way we could stop Donald Trump from doing what he's doing, is if we get back one leg of our powers, of the three powers of government. Presidency, we're not going to wait till 2028, folks. Midterms, we can't wait till 2026. The
Mhm.
Senate is not budging, but we have such a small division, such a small, what's it called? In the
Margin.
House, margin in
Yeah.
the House.
Yeah, it's
Never in
tiny.
the history of the United States. We need 3 seats. So what I'm saying to all of you, your voices are the most powerful ones out there. What we're going to be doing and what we're doing now, we're not waiting till March, we're not waiting till weeks from now. We're actually organizing right now. I spoke to Dean and Zev behind the scenes. We're all in on this. We're putting it together. We're figuring out a way, and we're going to Washington, D.C. But we're not going to go to Washington, D.C. just to do another march or another, Capitol Hill statement. We're going to Washington, D.C., and we're going to target these. Right now, we're doing our own OPPO research on these 3, 4, 5, 6 Congress people that out of the hundreds that they have there that could make that this difference right now. Because right now, the one thing that we have a unification on, folks, the one thing that doesn't divide this country, that doesn't even divide mega, is the Epstein file, folks.
Hmm.
The Epstein
Mm.
files, and I want to bring it back here. I know it's a time where a lot of things are happening, but the only way we could cure the cancer, the only way we could cure what's going on, is if we use the medication we have by going out there right now. Because if you take a look at what's going on right now, this shooting has become a partisan issue now. You have the mega Republicans standing up saying that this was not we stand for ICE. You have Democrats standing up saying we stand for Renee Nicole Good, and keep saying her name, Renee Nicole Good. But the difference is, that's what Trump and them want you to do. This is what they're feeding. I'm telling you, I speak to them all day on the phone, and I want to be a message, and I want to make sure to keep our eye on the ball. The one thing that plays in his hand, all of this distraction, because what it does is taking away from the Epstein files, from the what he did in Venezuela, to what happens, all of a sudden with this oil stuff, and unfortunately what happened yesterday in Minnesota, Minneapolis. What we need to do is contrary, because that's how we'll stop him. That's how we'll be able to get justice for the survivors. That's how we'll be able to get justice for Renee Good. That's how we're going to be able to get justice for all the people that are suffering and dying, and get our country back. And I know it might not sound like it's a time, and I'm not trying to minimize in any way possible of her death or what's going on, but I'm trying to be a rational voice and trying to put the blinders on. And I'm telling everybody, don't let them distract you, because if God forbid tomorrow or any of these days, and they will put agitators out there. They will put the Kyle
Dude,
Rittenhouses
they
out
did
there
it
into the
today.
ground.
They did it today. Did you see
Absolutely.
that Jaden
Uh,
Brown kid going out with a megaphone, hiding behind
yeah.
the ice line
You,
in
you see,
Minneapolis,
you see,
calling them motherfuckers and losers
you see,
and woke pricks and
You
libtards?
see,
You see
you
that?
see what I'm saying to you? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying to you. And all it takes is one spark, one little thing. And I promise you, we will wake up, or we will not have a chance to be able to take control of the House. We won't be able to vote, because they're already saying it. Stephen Miller said it yesterday again, folks. I don't know how much more to sound the alarm, but we're literally days, any day he will announce the insurrection. And
Yeah.
all it takes is that spark. So what I'm saying to you is, while we peacefully protest, and I'm saying to you that I'm not saying to stop, because we need to protest. We need to let our voice. We don't be scared. Don't let, but be. What I'm saying to you is, be vigilant. Watch around. Make sure your surroundings. Look out for each other. Don't be by yourself. Go in groups. If you're when you go out there and you protest. But what we're going to do, and for those of you that are able to, and that are part of you, that are going to come with us, I'm saying to you, set your notifications, and make sure you're subscribing to all of us, because we're going to let you know very shortly, within the next few weeks, hopefully, as long as we can get the permits and the right stuff. We're going to DC, and we're going to do something different, and we're going to make a difference, and we're going to try to get that gavel back as quick as possible, so we could start right away having accountability. Because the second the subpoenas start flying, the second
Mhm.
all of a sudden there's impeachments that are being written up, and it doesn't even have to be Donald Trump. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Pete Hegseth. Once that's when everything starts to unravel. That's when people start to talk. And I promise you, that's when we'll start having accountability and we'll be able to get our country back. Because I'm tired of talk. Last year, we did a lot of reporting. We do a lot of talking. After the fact, it's called reactive. Time this year, I promise you, proactive. No more reactive. We're going to go proactive. So while this is happening, as bad as these things are, as bad as what he did in Venezuela, as bad as what's going on in Russia, Ukraine, as bad as what happened yesterday, we're not going to let us take the deflection off the Epstein files. We're not going to let this where they are in default, folks. They're dead to right. They're right now in default. They have broken the law, and we have a bipartisan over 85% support level to get that. So let's get that going, because right now they're using all these distractions. It's already January 8th. They've been in session for 3 days. And if you recall, nothing right now, there's nothing being done with the Epstein files. But
Well,
prior
dude, think
to,
about it. They've been in session for 3 days. They've invaded Venezuela and murdered a
yeah,
woman
no,
in
absolutely.
Minneapolis in
Yeah,
cold fucking
Yeah,
blood. You
threatening
want
yeah,
Greenland.
distractions? There's
yeah,
fucking distract, and then
yep. That's what they
and
did.
then fucking threatened to invade Greenland.
I think
I
what you're
mean,
saying, Lev, is totally right. I think you've got the right. These guys are trying to create the battleground over on this issue. They want this issue to be the battleground. They want America versus ICE as the battleground in every major liberal city, so they can call the Insurrection Act, so they can get in there and declare martial law and really suppress these cities with a lot of militarization. And what you're saying is you're going to take the fight into into your own battleground with them, because really this is not a fight between ICE and the people of America. This is a fight between the people of America and Donald Trump, and between the people of America and the GOP. And we need to take the fight there, because that is really where the battle is taking place and where it should be taking place. This is a sideshow that they're trying to gaslight America into. Now, as you point out, it's important that people protest. It's important that people are aware that this is happening. But we have to understand that this is a manufactured clash that they're doing. They're trying to have us clash, like they did with George Floyd, like they've done in other years. We've just seen this. We've seen this play out before. We know what it looks like. We don't have to take the bait.
so Lev, let me ask you a question before we let you go, and before we wrap up the 5-stack today. Even though it's been a 1-stack, I love these 1-stacks. I love the deep dives.
Mhm.
You talked to people in the White House today. Are they concerned or are they giddy? And what are they going to do? Are they going to ramp this up in Minnesota? Are they all in Minnesota? Or are they trying to learn from this and trying to govern the people of the United States properly? Because I have it on fairly good authority that the White House, specifically inside the Oval Office, was giddy yesterday with the murder of this woman.
I mean, and it's sad to say that, because just to use that word giddy at the same time with the murder of a Gold Star widow, a mother of three American citizen. But, unfortunately, that's the situation there is. I mean, they are literally, waiting, watching TV, watching the reports, and waiting to hear that, boom, here it is, they just, there's a fire going on here or something saying. And the next thing you're going to see is you're going to see a major invasion. Trump basically, as sad as it sounds to say, folks, he wants to show the American people of his military force like he showed the Venezuelan. It's like I quote somebody, one of my sources. They said he's a rabid animal that's tasted blood. And he has the power of the most powerful military in the world.
Mhm.
And right now he's using it everywhere on everybody and everything. And that's why right now this is a very uncomfortable conversation. It's very, we have a lot going on, but we need to again, some people might disagree with me and say, love, we need to, right now focus on the death and Minnesota. And folks, I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing. Everybody mourns in their own way. I'm here to tell you, and like I said, I'm never here to sugarcoat things. And I'm here to say, as bad as things are and everything happening, keep your focus on the Epstein files, because that's where we will be able to pierce through what they're doing to be able to stop them from what's happening. Everything else is just conversation. Everything else is just falling into what they did. Because remember, folks, I'm not a pundit and I'm not a journalist. I'm not giving you an opinion. I was one of them. I helped build Mega. I still speak to them. I know how they breathe, how they are, and what's going on. And what I'm telling you is I'm warning you. I'm not trying to scare you, even though it is scary and you should be scared. I'm not trying to stop you from going out there and executing your First Amendment rights, because you should, and all should do it. All I'm trying to tell you is that we have one thing. We have a pure weapon right now, that if we all united, if the media would stop and everybody would unite on this weapon, that 86% of the country, including, and this is why it's important, including MAGA, including his own inner circle, including Republicans, that right now we wouldn't even have to go get other votes. And that's called the Epstein files. And that's something that is bigger than all of this put together. It's the biggest cover up in American history. It's the biggest cover up in world history. It's the biggest cover up of the century. And there's a lot more horrors there that need to be, and people need to go down. And that is the true Donald Trump kryptonite. That is his true defense. So when people say, what do we do? When people call, say, I'm scared. When people say, I don't know how we're going to stop this. Is it too late? We're not going to. It's not, folks. We have the tool. We have it now. And we have to just concentrate. As bad as it is, it's like, and it's, I compare it to fights. It's like you have to sometimes give up your body, even though it hurts, to wait for that one shot to hit him in his chin to knock him out. I mean, these body shots we're taking, by the murder yesterday of Renee Good, by the, attacks he's doing in Venezuela, by the ICE attacks all over the country. These are body shots that are meant to knock us out. But now we have our shot. We need to take it. And that is called the Epstein files. We need to unite. We need to hit them with it, because it will put them on their back, put them on their heels, dismantle their organization, dismantle the power that they have. And we will be able to be on accountability, instead of dealing with all of mourning people from getting killed because of ICE, or talking about stealing oil, or invasions of other countries, or Greenland, Canada, or other things.
It's some big news that happened on the Epstein files. People should pay attention to is Leslie Wexner is being subpoenaed.
Yep.
That is a really major development, and it is actually very good news in terms of what could be found out. Leslie Wexner could not be a bigger fish in this particular story, and everything he knows about Epstein and Trump. There's a lot there that he's aware of that is going to be revealed by that. But I think we're out of time today, gentlemen, and thank you very much for being here, Les. But go ahead, Dean. Oh, you're out of. I can't hear you. This happens to you. I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Yeah.
I don't hear you, and it's not me. It's you.
Do you hear me?
No.
You hear me, right?
I hear you, Lev, but I don't hear Dean.
I don't hear Dean. But Zev, thank you for having me, Dean.
It's great to have
Thank you for. He's going to talk.
He might try to jump back on. But Lev, I've got so much I want to talk to you.
Let's speak offline. I have 5 o'clock, folks. I'm going on with Wajahid Ali and Allison Gill to break down a lot of the stuff behind the scenes also. But Zev, let's definitely speak offline, and we should put together a special about some of the stuff that's going on, especially keeping the eye on the Epstein files.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more going on. Here's Dean again. He's back. I think we can hear him.
I can't, dude, I can't let you two. I love you guys. Like, I love you. I can't let you hang up without seeing me one last time. And I got to see you guys. And I need to end with this. Ladies and gentlemen, these two gentlemen as you're looking at the screen, your right, my left, are two people you have to have in your life. And if you hit the little chyron at the top, we have one of the world's best investigative reporters, one of the world's greatest truth tellers, one of the most brave, courageous whistleblowers in Lev Parnas and Zev Shalev. And getting to ride shotgun with you in a historic time in our history, both of you guys, is my pleasure. But this is only capable. We are only capable of doing this. You are only capable of putting this at the top of the algorithm if you subscribe and if you share. So please subscribe to both Lev, Zev, and myself. Paid subs get us to the top of the algorithm. They put this content, these conversations that are very fucking real, that you can count on, at the front of the queue. So if you could do that, help us build this resistance, greatly appreciated. In terms of the operation that Lev was just talking about, we are going to DC. We are going to take this to the halls of Congress. We are going to pick off some very, very sick zebras at the side of the GOP herd. So do us a favor. Zev, Lev, you're going to put this at levremembers.com. Enough is enough. please fill up the GoFundMe fundraiser because we are moving forward. It should be in the chat. If not, we'll put it in the chat, and we're going to put it in the post a little later on. If you could donate, if you could subscribe, if you can keep us moving forward, we'll keep moving forward for you and with you because we are you. So thank you for joining us for the FiveStack today. And guys, I'm sorry I had to come back in because I love you both.
Also, because everyone should subscribe to deanblundell.substack.com because that is just the place for all the news that we're putting the FiveStack every day. But I just want to commend you, Dean, on all the incredible narration that you're doing of the crisis that we're in. You know, you're a great broadcaster. We've all known that for a long time. But the work you've done in the last few months and really bringing voice to the issues that we are working on and the news that we're breaking all the time is just phenomenal. You're a rare species and a fantastic talent, but you really care about this stuff, and another good reason to make sure you become a
I'm
paid
nothing
subscriber.
without you guys. You complete
and if I
me.
may add to it, and if I may add to that, Zev, that not only is he an incredible individual that brings you this news in such a way where you're able to sometimes take a deep breath because, but also he's a true hero fighter behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know he works behind the scenes with people like Steve Schmidt, like me, like Zev and others. He is a true fighter and a hero. And that's why Dean is not just somebody out there that has some fun by broadcasting a show, but he's a true patriot fighting to save our democracy in front of the camera, behind the scenes, on the front line. So I just want to say, shout out to my brother.
We all do, and my pleasure. We're here because if we can beat Trump in America, that means we win everywhere, and it means we win in Canada, means we win in Ukraine. So let's all go forward together. Make sure you give these guys a sub. Thank you for joining us for the FiveStack today. I'm sending nothing but love to my American compatriots, specifically my Democratic American compatriots. There's about 300 million of you. I love you. Canada sees you. We know that you're the shining city on the hill still. You're just covered in Trump's diaper at the moment. So let's go forward and take that diaper off and get your democracy back. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see everybody tomorrow.